take it out of the ark. You know what I mean? To have the other one, which we could do. I think, Cantor, we're going to have to sit next to each other to share this mic. I think we should sit like here and here. And here, we have to share the mic. We have some folks online, which is lovely, but they can't hear us without the mic. I got it. Okay. Here, just take this one. Pick up my mask.
Okay, it's red. Does that mean the batteries are dead?
Let's see. Well, good Yontif, everybody. Good Yontif is Yiddish for I need to get a new battery. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, I'll hold this. Oh, what branch were you in? Oh, my dad was a Navy man. He was a pharmacist mate during World War II, during the invasion of Normandy. Oh, wow. Yeah, he was on a packet boat, and they took supplies in and moved it out. So he didn't go all the way in. He went in till it was fairly shallow, and they would bring these sort of flat boats out and wound it and put them on, and then they take them out to hospital ships. But before like he said, they were these very small ships before the invasion. They were in England, up by Blackpool, and he said, he was the only medical personnel on board. So if something happened, he was it, and so oftentimes he was on the radios with doctors. Stuff fell on people, bones. He said the only good thing about it was, he said, is you're in charge of medicinal alcohol, and he said you are the king. So what did you do? As a nurse. Oh, you were a nurse. Do you know, I tried to be clergy in the Navy, and they had a thing at the time that they wouldn't take anyone over 35. And I said to the guy, I said, do you want to be clergy? Marital strife, that, and you don't want someone to put you in authority? He said, I know, it's the rule.
Well, they changed things. Congress can change things according to the
Well, this was 1988, and I talked to them, and they were not listening. Also, they had a thing back then where
minority.
it took a while for them to understand it can't just be clergy, but we went to find as a senator, like the rabbis. So that got changed too. Today, I think they probably would have been glad to take me. I bet if I went to volunteer.
Year after.
Is that a year
I
after?
was 38 when I went in, and I went in 1989.
Well, hello. Come on in and have a seat. Hi, Emma. Hi, Will. Hi, Katie. Thank you, Emma, for the beautiful drawing you made for me. I love it. All right. Well, good Yontif, everybody. So as I was saying, we know what good means. And Yontif is a Yiddish word that is the Hebrew version of Yom Tov, right? Now, Yom Tov also literally means a good day, but when we use Yom Tov, it means like a holy day, a special day. You're welcome to come join us up front. Okay, we'll just grab another seat. Here, Emma, let's scoot you over to me, okay? Wow, there you go. Ooh, can we pick this prayer book up off the floor? Okay. All right, here we go. Let's just scoot on over. Get nice and cozy. And hello to everybody who's online as well. So I think what we want to do first, so as I was saying, so this is, so we say Good Yontif, we can wish each other Gemar Chatima Tova, right? So On Rosh Hashanah, we wish everybody Shana Tova, which means a Happy New Year. And then in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we hope that everybody will have a good writing in what we call our Book of Life. So when you say Gemar Chatima Tova, that's the traditional greeting in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So let's just try to say together, Gemar Chatima Tova. Here we go. Gemar Chatima Tova. So I am Rabbi Beth Jackowitz-Chotner of Temple Shalom, and next to me is my clergy partner, Canty Betsy Peters-Epstein, who is here from New York City, and we're lucky to have her with us. This is her third year with us, so it's really wonderful that she's here in Louisville, which is very different from New York. So why don't we start by going around, and let's just each, we'll have to pass the mic because the folks online can't hear us without the mic. So why don't we just pass the mic around and tell us your name?
Emma. Will.
Katie. Megan.
Adam.
Shelley.
Maggie.
Julia.
Felix.
And Cantor Betsy Peters-Epstein.
And over here doing our streaming is the one and only Travis Duval. Thank you, Travis. We're grateful to have you. So we just found out it's Felix's birthday today, right? And tell us again, how old are you? 5, which is very exciting. You know, we had 2 people here this morning who also had their birthday today. So let's, Cantor can lead us in the singing of Happy Birthday in Hebrew.
Let's practice the words first. Say Yom.
Yom.
Who led it?
Who led it?
Sameach.
Sameach.
Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach to Felix.
And many more. So we're going to start this afternoon on page 167 as we sing Hine Matov. This is a song that says how great and wonderful it is when we come together as brothers and sisters. It's on the bottom of the page.
I'm going to lie the melody once so you can hear it. Lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 lie. Hine matovu manayim, shevet akim gam yakai. Hine matovu manayim, shevet akim gam yakai.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to do some reading. And when the mic comes to you, you're welcome to read. And of course, we want everyone to feel comfortable. So if someone chooses to pass, that's okay. Or if somebody's just learning to read and needs a little assistance, that's okay too. So let's start on the bottom of 63, responsively. 63 on the bottom. Yom Kippur is a day of thinking and remembering. Yom Kippur gives us an opportunity to think about how we could have done a little better. Yom Kippur gives us an opportunity to say, I am sorry, and start over again. So now we're going to continue on page 76, and I'm going to ask those who are physically able to please rise, and we are going to chant the Baruch Hu when we praise God's name. Do we have any volunteers who'd like to open the ark for us? Emma wants to. Anybody else want to give Emma a hand? Andy, you want to go open the ark? It looked like you kind of wanted to. You can leave your water bottle on your seat, okay? So we're going to be, and I'm going to give the, so come on up. And I'm going to get, oh, my shoes will make up there. 76.
That's very good. La 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 and now we bow at the knees. Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Hamevorach Leolam Vaed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please close the ark.
That's right. Very good closing.
Thank you so much to all our helpers. We're going to remain standing as we continue on page 81 responsively. Katie, do you want to lead us?
Is at the top? God's love stretches. From top to bottom, it stretches and grows and melds the beginning and end. God's love reaches from start to finish. It reaches and spreads, forgetting just where it began. God's love teaches with stories and laws and rules and prayers. It teaches us best how to live. In love, we listen. We too can stretch. We too can reach. And we too can teach as we seek the new year ahead. Wrap us up in your peace like a great big talit. Hold us close with this prayer in your love.
Thank you. So now we're going to continue on page 82 with the chanting of Shema Yisrael, the watchword of our faith, which affirms that there is only one God in heaven and on earth.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malakuto Leolam.
And now we'll be seated and we'll continue on page 84. Cantor will lead us with the chanting of Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha uv'kol nafshecha uv'kol meodecha hayu advarim ha'ele asher anoki metzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinantam levaneka vidibarta baham meshifteka beveteka uvilekteka vaderek uvishokbeka ukshartam leot al yadeka והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים.
Ani Adonai Elohechem. So thousands of years ago, our ancestors were slaves. Who might know in which country were we enslaved? Will. In Egypt. And who was our leader who helped bring us out of Egypt? Does anyone else have a guess? Emma. Moses. So let's join together on the top of 86, because being free, thank God all of us were born free. So sometimes if you have something and can kind of take it for granted, you don't always appreciate that you have it. So to remind ourselves that we were not always free, we are going to read on 86, and then we're going to chant together with Cantor the words that the Israelites sang after they crossed the Sea of Reeds, which split open, and we crossed through on dry land. So together on 86. When God freed our ancestors from slavery in Egypt, they were trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Sea of Reeds. God parted the sea so that the Israelites could cross safely to the other side. When Moses, Miriam, and the Israelites saw that they were safe and free, they sang this song.
Mi kamoka bailim Adonai, mi kamoka nedar bakodesh, noroti lo osefe.
Thank you, Cantor. So now we are going to continue with the Amidah. Amidah means standing, and it's really the central part of the service, although a lot of us don't know that. So we'll be standing for a few minutes and chanting, starting on page 90. So do we have 2 or 3 even, or 4 maybe, young folks who would like to open the ark again? All right, I see Emma, Felix, and Andy. We're going to rise, page 90.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia gita ilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your
Page
praise.
92.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leor, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur Ve'Hanurah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Kanei Hakol, Ve'Zocher, Cause they avut v'imahut u'mevi
94, Zochreinu.
Zochreinu lekayim, melech hafetz b'kayim, v'kadveinu b'sefer hakayim, lema'am Elohim hayim, melech ozer, u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
Amen.
Atah gibor
96.
Adonai, mechayehu Atah rav lehoshia marid Mechakel Chaim bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol berakamim rabim, Samek noflim verofei kolim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishnei afar, Mi kamoka ba'al gevurot, Umi dome la, Melech me'imit mechayim, Umasmiach Yeshua. Mi kamoka el harakamim, Zokir Yitzurav, Lekayim berakamim, V'ne'eman atah lehakayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekayeh hakol.
Can our helpers please close the ark?
Very good.
Thank you so much. Let's all be seated. So what we just chanted, the first part was we asked God to open our lips so that we could praise God. And then we connected ourselves with our ancestors who came before us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Leah, Rebecca, and Rachel, our matriarchs and our patriarchs, and saying, you know what, God, just as you were good to them and kept your promises to them, that we know that you're going to do the same for us. And then but there was a special insert in that prayer that asks us, God, please remember us for life and inscribe us in the book of life. Because what we say at this time of year, we say there's this book of life. And on Rosh Hashanah, God writes in it something about each of us for the coming year. And then on Yom Kippur, it's sealed in the book of life. So we ask in what we just chanted, please God, remember us and inscribe us in the book of life for something really, really good. And then the last prayer that we chanted together is just saying how powerful God was and all the things that God has the ability to do, and that there's no other God with the small letter G, right, that compares to God. Because sometimes we could think like our phone is the most important thing in the world, or our iPad, or the car we drive, or even our jobs. But we need to remember that what's really most important, right, there's only one God with a capital G. These are other things that we can make into gods are really false gods. So getting back to this idea of the book of life, we say that the way we act and behave, you know, and what do we do between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur can improve what God writes about us. And so what is one thing what does our tradition ask of us to do during this time of year? I'm going to give you a hint. It's to say I'm, and it starts with an S. If we hurt somebody, or did something not nice, what would we want to say? I'm Andy. I'm sorry. You got it. So it doesn't mean that all year round we shouldn't say we're sorry if we hurt somebody, right? I want to be really clear. We don't have to wait to Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur to make our apologies. But this is a time of year when we pause and we take a step back and we come to the synagogue and we just think about, who have I been? Have I been the best me that I can be? You know, there's this great teaching that says when the end of our days and we go to heaven, we're not going to be asked, were you as great as Moses? No, that's not the question we're going to be asked, because none of us are Moses. We're going to be asked, like I'm going to be asked, were you the best Beth that you can be? And Emma's going to be asked, Emma, were you the best Emma that you could be? And Andy was going to be asked, were you the best Andy? And Felix is going to be asked, were you the best Felix? And it's the same for all the adults here too. So this is a time of year when we pause to really think about, who am I? What have I done? What am I doing that's great that I want to keep up doing? And what are those things that I really should think about changing so that I am a better person in the coming year? So we're on page 101. Will, would you like to read responsively for us? Okay, so you're going to read a paragraph and then we'll read the indented section. 101.
God is like a parent watching over us. The Unatana Tokef prayer says that our deeds are written down and that God reads them. God cares about what we do and the people we are trying to become. God sees us when we do our best and when we fall short.
When we try hard to be our best, God is proud of us, cheering us on.
Sometimes scary things happen in the world, things that we cannot control, things that we do not understand, but there is a lot we can do to help others and start to heal the world. You have taught us that there are 3 important ways that we can get through the difficult times and make things better.
Teshuvah is turning back to God, turning back to doing what is right. We are not perfect. When we are not our best, God wants us to apologize to those we have hurt and try harder.
Tefillah is prayer. When we feel sad or scared, we can talk to God. We can ask for wisdom and we may feel stronger. Tzedakah is doing what is fair,
what is just. Sometimes we feel like the world is out of control, that the problems are very big, but we can do our part to help, to be partners with God and make the world a better place.
Teshuvah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah are what we need to do to write a new page in God's book.
Good job, Will. Excellent. So Cantor is now going to chant on page, the top of page 100, the words Unatana Toka.
Merosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uvyom Som Kippur Uvyom Som Kippur Yikatevun Merosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uvyam Som Kippur, Uvyam Som Kippur, Yekateimu.
Thank you, Cantor. We're going to continue in blue on page 103. Would you like to be our next reader?
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know. There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot be of service to us. There is holiness when we promote family harmony. There is holiness when we love, truly and honestly and unselfishly. There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in. There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us. There is holiness when we remember the lonely and bring cheer into a dark corner. There is holiness when we share our bread, our ideas, our enthusiasm.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we are going to continue on page 112. Andy, would you like to read something? No, you're going to pass? Okay. Then we're going to continue on 112 with the singing of Sim Shalom, our prayer for peace. We know that there are so many places around the world. We know that in Israel we need more peace. In our divided country we need more peace. In Louisville we need more peace. In Temple Shalom we need more peace. In our own families and even within ourselves we need internal peace and serenity. So we join now in our prayer for peace. Sim Shalom, page 112.
Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Gain Vachesed Verakamim, Verakamim, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amecha.
So when we come together to worship, we always take time to think about people that we know, people that we love, that maybe are under the weather, they're not feeling good, or maybe emotionally they're feeling kind of down. So whether it's healing of body or mind or spirit, if anybody has someone that they would like us to keep in our prayers today, then please feel free to say their names aloud as we go around the circle.
My parents and my mother-in-law. Brother-in-law,
Thank you.
So,
Oh, yes, my brother Carlson and his partner Raul Hernandez.
and I want to add Will Duval and all the others that I hold dear in my heart. So let's join together in our Mishaberach prayer for healing, which can be found on page 123 in the middle of the page, 123.
Sheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor
So whenever we come together, we also make sure that we have the opportunity for our own prayers. So we'll continue now silently.
Shalom Imraman, Uyasei Shalom Aleinu, Ve'alko Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Ya'asei Shalom, Ya'asei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ya'asei Shalom, Ya'asei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to take out the Torah and give everyone a chance to gather around and just read a few verses from the Torah. So I'm going to ask everyone to please rise as we take the Torah out of the ark. And Travis, maybe you can have the Aliyah. And when we take the Torah out from the ark, I'm going to walk around. So if you want to, you can take your hand or your prayer book and touch it to the Torah, and then either touch the corner of your prayer book, or you can touch it with your hand and kiss your and then kiss your hand, because the Torah is our most sacred possession. Sure.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai,
So Travis, come on up first, please. And I'm going to invite everybody else to come gather around if you feel comfortable being close.
So you can see the Torah.
What's your Hebrew name? Melech. And we call someone to the Torah by their Hebrew name, and then and then he'll say the blessing. Ya'amod Melech ben Avraham v'Sarah la'aliyah la'Torah. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bacha Banu Mikohamim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So if you could just hold this here. So for the little ones who have maybe, or anyone who has not seen a Torah up close, feel free to come even closer than you are. So what I want you to see, obviously this is written in Hebrew, and Hebrew is written like all ancient languages from right to left. And this is parchment, which means this comes from the skin of a kosher animal. And this, like a goat or a cow or deer, this obviously is wood, so that's made by God. That's natural. The ink is made from insects and from plants. And as you can see here, if I roll this, right, what looks here like a Band-Aid, but it's not, this is also part of the animal. And this, which looks like threads where it's stitched together, it's the sinews of the animal. So everything that comprises the Torah, right here where it's sewn together, because a sofer, a scribe, a person who's specially trained to write the Torah, they have to study for many years to learn how. They write it in sections and then it's sewn together. We can't have any mistakes in the Torah. And so this, which holds each sections together, is from the kosher animal too. And when they write this, they use the quill, a feather, from also a bird, but it also has to be kosher. So everything in the Torah is natural, given from God. So this is part of what we read this morning. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem, vashechem shiftechem ziknechem v'shotrechem, kol ish Yisrael, tapechem nishechem v'gercha asher bekerev machanecha, mechotev at eitzecha ad shoev mimecha, la'overcha bevrit Adonai Elohecha. So we read some more, but this is basically saying that today all of you are standing here before Adonai your God, the chiefs and the elders and the magistrates, every person of Israel, including the young people and the women and the strangers in our midst or in our camps. From the one who chops the wood to the one who brings the water. And the idea is that all of us, right, who are standing here today, all of us received the Torah on Mount Sinai, even if we were really there or not, because we really weren't there. But this tells us in this Torah portion that all of us received the Torah, and metaphorically, all of us stood at Mount Sinai. And so this Torah belongs as much to us as it did to Moses and the generation that walked through the desert and our relatives who came before. And then Travis has the honor of chanting the blessing after we read the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayolam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So I'm going to ask everyone if you would go back down, and we are going to then dress the Torah. Do you want to lift it? You haven't lifted it before. That's right. All right, so we're just going to dress the Torah. So I'm going to ask Travis and Cantor to help dress the Torah. And I want you to know, where's the garden? Here you go. The way we dress the Torah resembles the way the priests used to dress. They had a robe, they had a belt around the middle, they had something on their head. And so you'll see that that's what's going to happen. First, Travis will put on the gartel, the belt. Then we'll put on the covering, which is symbolic of the robe. And then the coverings are what the priest wore on their heads.
Olam haolam It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Return us to you, Adonai, and we will return. Renew our days as of old.
So the idea of a tree of life, that's one of our names for the Torah. We think of the Torah as a tree of life, and that, and we also talked about asking God to help us come back to God, help us turn and return to the best that we can be. So there's a fun song, Tree of Life, and I want to see if it's in the back, but Cantor will just sing it one time through, even if it's not, just because it's a good song for us to know, and it's a fun, upbeat song about the Torah.
Actually, the first lines are on 132 in English. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy.
Thank you. And so if you come to one of our No Shush Shabbats, sometimes we end with that song, so you will get to hear it. All right, we are going to be now on 139. Megan, would you like to read? Okay. Adam, would you like to read? All right, so just read the whole thing for us.
Sometimes we miss the mark, or we don't try our best. Sometimes we miss the mark on purpose, and sometimes by accident. Sometimes we miss the mark by not caring, and sometimes by being mean. Sometimes we miss the mark by acting like we are better than others, and sometimes by not listening. Sometimes we miss the mark by telling lies, and sometimes by hurting people's feelings. Sometimes we miss the mark by being selfish, and sometimes by losing our temper. God, none of us is perfect. We remember the times we have missed the mark so that the next time we can do better. Forgive us and help us to try harder. Help us to learn from our mistakes. Help us to be the best people we can be.
So this idea of missing the mark is a very Jewish way of talking about the idea of sin or making mistakes. If you think of archery, and there's a bullseye, right? And ideally, you want to try to hit right in the middle, the bullseye. But you know what? We don't always hit the bullseye. We don't always hit the mark. So we think of it as we miss the mark. So just like if we want to get better at archery, we need to spend more time practicing. So if there are things about us, like maybe we need to keep our rooms more neat, or maybe we need to share more, or maybe we watch too much TV on Netflix, right? Right? Whatever it is, each of us has our own issues that we deal with. This is the opportunity to try to come closer to the bullseye. And after we acknowledge these things that we have done wrong, on the bottom of 138, we say to God, for all these things, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, and grant us atonement. So Cantor's going to chant, and if you know it, please chant along. Ve'akulam Eloah Selichot. And now we're going to do that again a little higher, because we're never going to make the next line. Cantor started to low. Ve'akulam Eloah Selichot Selach lanu mekalanu kape get to the part of the service that's called the Aleinu, it actually means you're beginning the concluding part of the service. And I know when I was a kid, whenever I heard the Aleinu, I was like, yes, we're getting close to the end. So we're going to be on 142. And if you flip back one page, it says concluding prayers. Our prayer service is divided into many different sections, one of which, of course, is the concluding section. So let's all rise. Can our ark openers help us one more time today? 142. Thanks, Andy.
You guys are experts by now. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kegaye haratzot velo samanu kemishpekot adama shelo sam kelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kekol hamana va'anaknu korim umishtakavim umodim lifnei melech malkei amakim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Can we please close the ark?
Thank you.
Thank you, helpers. Good job to all of you. We may all be seated. Thank you, Emma and Felix and Annie. So, also one thing that we do whenever we come together to pray is remember all our loved ones who are no longer with us physically, but who live on in our hearts and our minds. And if you look at either side, you're going to see all these lights turned on. Those are the names of people who belong to this synagogue or were relatives of people who belong to this synagogue who have died. But by putting a plaque, it reminds us of them. And every week, different lights are lit up because that's the week that they passed away. But on Yom Kippur, and our next service this afternoon is Yizkor, is a memorial service. On Yom Kippur, we light the lights of everybody's name. So before we say the mourner's Kaddish, which actually sounds really sad because it has the word mourner, right? Someone who is lost someone and who's really sad. Actually, the prayer doesn't say anything about death. It praises God. Because what we say is even at sad times, we still maintain our faith and belief in God. So is there anyone here who wants to say the name or names of people that you're thinking of today who are no longer living but that you love very much? So I'll start. I'm thinking about my dad and my 2 aunts and all 4 of my grandparents who had a big part in my life, and all of them influenced my connection to Judaism in different ways.
I'm thinking of my mom and dad and all my aunts.
I have a friend whose name is Izzy, and his friend passed away.
That's very kind of you to remember that. Thank you.
I'm thinking about George Davido.
My mom and dad and my husband.
All of my grandparents. I was born with 7, and I just turned 40, and this is the first year that they're all passed. I was able to live 40 years with all my with so many grandparents, and now they're all gone. So for them.
Thinking about my grandparents and my Aunt Lucille, my Uncle Jesse, and Ann Klein, Sandy Klein.
Anu and Apu Klein.
My grandparents and my uncle and my cousin Michael.
Three of my grandparents and my Aunt Debbie and cousin Billy and my grandparents-in-law, all four of them.
So as we think about all our loved ones and all the wonderful memories that we have of the time we got to spend with them, we rise together as a congregation and we recite the Mourner's Kaddish today, page 146. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divarach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayeichon uv'yomeichon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'yimaru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha berichu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata ta'amiran bi'alma v'yimaru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Please be seated. So we're almost done. We're going to read on page 155 responsively. Would you like to be our next reader?
As we leave this holy space, we remember the work that we have done over the past 10 days. Remember all the reasons why we said, I am sorry to our parents, our children, our families, and our friends. We also remember that you, God, are with us always and protect us and forgive us. We thank you, God, for also giving us these days to celebrate with family and friends and remember that we are part of a larger Jewish community. We look forward to joining together again next year and once again hearing the sound of the shofar.
So, Travis, do you have your shofar? Okay, so it's not officially the end of Rosh Hashanah. I mean, yes, it is. That's over 10 days ago. It is not yet officially the end of Yom Kippur, but for some folks here, this might be the only Yom Kippur service that they have the ability to be at. So we are going to rise, and unlike last week where there were many blasts of the horn, we have only one blast of the horn, which is the long one. So come on up to the bima. You'll get a little practice for later today. Tekiah Gedolah. Yasher Koach, Mazel Tov. Great job, Travis. So to conclude our song, our worship this morning, let's stand and continue standing. We are going to sing Am Yisrael Chai. The people of Israel lives. The words can be found on 163, and in addition to, yes, they're all there. Am Yisrael Chai, and then Od Avinu Chai.
I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, hi. I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, hi. I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, hi. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Oda Vinu Chai, Chai. Oda Vinu Chai, Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu Chai, Chai. Oda Vinu Chai, Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael.
May the year 5784 be a wonderful year for all of us, for our families, our loved ones, and all of God's children. Gemar Chatima Tova, may each of you be blessed and sealed in the book of life with a wonderful writing. Thanks to Cantor and to Travis. Thanks for joining us on YouTube.